Oh, hells yeah. You know what time it is. I mean, I assume you have a watch, don't you? Watches, they exist, right? I'm told there are things.
Hell yeah.
I have not worn a watch, and I would say probably since I got an iPhone, I have not worn a watch.
Yeah, dude. Smartphones were sort of the return of the pocket watch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
See, I don't know. I've actually been using my watch more and more because I can
It's a
run.
smartphone?
I've been running again.
Oh.
And so like I can listen to podcasts or music without bringing my phone.
So are you streaming it like over LTE or is it downloaded?
No, you have to load it onto the watch, which is its own. Like you want to know it's kind of the return of when you used to have to sync your iPod with your computer. Now it's back in POG form, and that's how the more things change, the more they stay the same.
Yeah, that's true. Now I tried wearing a iWatch for a while. But
Apple Watch?
The Apple Watch, iWatch.
The Apple Watch.
And it was so, I don't know, it made my arm ache. I don't like my wrist ache. It was really weird.
Did it make you feel like an old lady to realize that wearing a watch was hard?
I mean, I wore a watch for years and then I stopped and then I started wearing that one. And I don't know what it was, but it's something about, like I wear my swatches every now and then from like my 80s swatches and they don't bother me, but the Apple Watch.
The watch was too heavy.
That extra ounce was causing that bounce.
No, I don't know what it is, but it's not like ache as in my arm is tired. It was right where it was at the spot.
You made it. To hear you tell it, it sounded like I'm wearing this manacle upon my wrist.
I mean, well, that's what it felt like.
I mean, I will say that there is like that kind of stuff. When I first started to wear the wedding ring, like I'd never worn rings before in my life, like, and it definitely like it just gave like it wasn't even like it bothered me like I wanted it off. It did make my hand feel heavier and it made me feel like I had a gauntlet. Like I don't know what it was, like just the pressure point made me feel like I had a Thanos like gauntlet on.
I can totally agree with that. And
brain.
What's funny is the wedding ring for me. Because I at the time the wedding ring that I wear is platinum, right? And it's fairly heavy. And I remember thinking at the time, like, man, if I'm gonna get married, I want to know it and know it at all times, right? And so and I used to take off the ring and then just drop it in my hand and be like, yeah, that's the one true ring to rule them all. It's
I would
very
do the same
thick and
thing.
heavy and powerful.
I would do the same thing. I drop it into my hand and go, oh, no, I'm kidding.
Wait, you just said what I said, but then laughed like that would be a dumb thing to do.
No, I thought I was saying it with a different inflection.
No, Bonnie, you're
negative.
too nice. You're too nice because you weren't able to sell disgust.
Yeah,
like, I think what the joke that Bonnie was going for was that she was disgusted when the ring hit her hand, but she was unable to theatrically gin up disgust. So
That's
it just
true.
did sound exactly like what Brian said.
That's the thing that I pushed down.
Well, now I'll tell you what. Now it just gives a totally new frame of reference on what disgust sounds like from Bonnie. It's like indistinguishable from her just sighing, which is
I thought
maybe a more troubling revelation.
All those moments that I thought were unbridled pleasure turned out to be mild disgust.
Oh my God, my true secret.
No, but what was interesting was that once I started wearing a ring, I had to think about, like, well, do I wear a ring on stage? And part of it was and remains an actual safety issue. Like if I'm going to put out fire in my hand or whatever, it matters whether or not there's an object
metal,
exactly that's going to let fuels leak out or whatever. And then beyond that was the question of like, okay, hi, it's me, Brian, at the age of 24, married. Is that the character that I'm presenting on stage? And I realized, like, no. What I'm doing on stage, that character is not married. So
That character's dick is just swinging. Oh, like a fucking salami in the window, waiting for a purchaser. Just swinging. Oh, the history of fire eating is not as long as the fucking notches on my bedpost, motherfucker. I am free agent. Magician, dick for hire. Look me up, ladies or men. There's no rails on this hedonistic magician's theatrical conceit. Who wants to see the meat, baby?
Oh my god!
Would that be how you would think of it? Would that be?
I mean, look, it's cute that you bothered to memorize my script, but
Yeah, I gotta say, like, even into like Brian's late 30s, people were surprised that he was married and had children, or there's like,
well, but that's also something like it's not incorrect to say that it's a bit odd that we got married as young as we did.
But we waited for kids. I mean, there would be the
we waited 4 whole years.
We waited until we were 30.
5 years.
Until before my eggs would start going stale.
You were not even 30 when we were trying. I was still under 30 when Penny was born.
Oh, I forgot you're a baby.
Yes, because you're a cradle robber. But the ring thing, it was interesting that there was like a conscious moment when it came to doing the TV show, because from a magic standpoint, like, no, don't put on a ring. You don't want to complicate, these moves or whatever. And then it's like, then you justify the character is not married, the archetype, the whatever.
Oh, you justify.
But then TV happened, and I realized it was like a moment. I was like, hacking the system. The modern rogue, yeah, he is married, and it was like a big deal for me to wear the ring. Bonnie did not care at all.
I didn't. I do now.
Well, I'm glad you do now.
Super sweet. That is so charming.
Yeah.
But that was a difference of just like, maturity. And I guess like in those things, you're an authority. Like you on stage are a little bit more of a Peter Pan. Like you're just this crazy energy that flits into somebody's life and then leaves.
You can
the wacky person who you can't believe is actually going to try whatever is about to happen next. Right.
Yeah.
Whereas hacking the system was sort of the beginning of moving into, no, what if it's somebody who actually knows what he's doing and is cool?
He knows everything.
Yeah.
He knows how to maintain a relationship to the point of marriage. He is hacking the system, man.
Hacking the system. He's a professional con artist.
I hacked my way into a wife. Like, look at all these 5 easy hacks to bag a wife.
First, you got to get a dog.
Yeah.
Like a wiener dog named Margaret. What was the?
Hold on. I want to know where this is going.
Go.
No,
Let's go.
Sorry, go on.
Bonnie explains a thing. And
how do you get married? And how does it involve
a dog named Margaret?
A wiener dog.
Yes.
A wiener
I've
dog
got
named
a
Margaret.
wiener dog.
You've got a wiener dog that you take to the park to meet
Yes.
a wife, and her name's Martha.
Martha.
Margaret.
Martha.
Your dog is named
Maybelline.
Margaret. So you made a
Margaret.
wife named Martha.
No.
And then you give birth
No.
to
I'm
either
fishing.
a Superman or a Batman.
No.
Yeah.
But on Hacking the System, I don't know if you remember your own TV show, but you went and flirted with women
Yes. Okay.
on the.
But by having a dog named Mary Todd Lincoln,
That's what I was trying to go
which
for.
was a reference to our track on Night Attack.
Yes.
Right.
Wow, took us a bit to get there, but I'm glad we landed.
We got there. A wiener dog named Margaret. Man,
Married
you
to
want a
Abraham
wife?
Lincoln.
Get a wiener dog named Margaret. That's the step one.
Oh
Wiener
man.
dog named Margaret. I want a bunch of people to do that though. I would like it if that happened. You have a bunch of wiener dogs get adopted, and boy or girl, they're Margaret now. Like, we're just gonna figure it out.
Man, maybe they're Margarita if there's and Margarito if they're a boy.
Oh.
Margarito is a good name. That's a strong
Margarito.
name.
Margarito is pretty badass now that I think about
What's
it.
your name? Oh,
Margarito.
Margarito.
Okay.
And then just stare. You can't say your name is Margarito without maintaining eye contact for a solid 3 seconds.
You also could shorten it to Rito, kind of like Rico.
Yeah, if you're watching
Or
live,
Gar.
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 Margarito
yeah,
is an awesome name.
Yeah, I like
Mar, Gar, or Rito. You can't go wrong.
Margar or Rito.
Or all three.
Margarito.
When
No, that yeah.
then you get
that's like
You shat on the rug again.
Sorry, is that something your son does?
Oh, I thought we were still talking about dogs.
dogs. No, we're talking about humans. A human named Margarito.
No, that is pretty good.
Do you think that you could? There'd be a senator Margarito. I don't know if the country's ready for a president Margarito, but you could definitely say and I'm talking a single name,
no.
like a soccer star.
I would say certainly a 4-star general.
4-star general. Margarito?
Yeah,
No,
General
no.
Margarito.
Well, no, that's a last
Ooh.
name. Although I guess if we are talking about a single name, like it's like Pele, then it would like. How far off do you think we're to like a politician that just has the one name, like Madonna or Ronaldo or something like that?
We already have it. We're just waiting for her to realize it. Her name is Zendaya.
Zendaya is great. Yeah, one name, strong. I mean, all we need to do is to have her run for president. We're all going to vote for her, President Zendaya. Boom.
Certainly this year.
Bada boom.
Her
done.
campaign slogan, Zendaya, you don't need to know who she is. She keeps her teeth in.
Yeah.
Boom.
Exactly.
Zendaya, she can at least remember her lines. Take
like,
that,
yeah.
both other people.
If I were running,
Zendaya,
I would say,
not an old white man.
I would say if I were running Zendaya as president, it'd be like, you ever seen Spider-Man? No, the new one. That's it, right there. That's on the poster. Zendaya 2020 doesn't even need a running mate. We'll figure it out. Who's
you know what?
running mate? We'll figure it out.
Zendaya has never lived during Jim Crow laws.
Yeah. Facts.
Take that, both other presidents.
Yeah.
Wow.
Never. That shit is Wikipedia to her. She doesn't know it.
Zendaya has no idea where she was the day Kennedy was assassinated.
Yep. Facts.
Oh my God.
I mean, her fucking parent might not know. For all we know, I don't know how young they were.
God, can we start? Can we draft Zendaya? Can we make this
Draft
a thing?
Zendaya.
I like this.
Yeah, I don't know. I think that would be a good idea. Everything's all crazy anyway. I think we could probably just slip her in. No one would even know. Everything's crazy right now. You have stuff going on.
Is your mom
She would be
still
real
on the ballot?
KC undercover.
Oh.
Please,
No, she's
please tell me
gonna
I
be-
got that right. Like she played that right.
Oh.
Who?
I don't know.
KC undercover wasn't that her Disney Channel? Oh God damn it!
I have
We
three
are
children.
out of my depth on that one. That is
I know.
you. That is some parent shit right there.
She's not 40.
Yeah, there it is.
She's
KC
not
undercover.
40.
Boom, got it. Oh God, that was a great joke, and none of you got it. Fuck all of you. All right, it's fine.
Wait. She's not 40, though. She has to be at least 40.
No, 35.
No, 35.
Oh, I thought you had to be on the other side.
On the other
Of
side.
35? Yes, you
God.
do. You have to be older than your birthday
Why do
when
we?
you become 35.
Why do we have the?
Man,
Why do we have the
imagine a
Crypt
presidential
Keepers?
candidate where the number one questions are, Why did Zendaya leave Casey undercover? Excuse me, Ms. Possible President, does Zendaya have a stunt double in Casey Undercover? What happened in Casey Undercover?
Holy crap. So wait, she went from Disney Channel to
Fucking
Euphoria in 3 years?
I guess.
When
What
did
is
Euphoria?
Euphoria?
Oh, Euphoria is a show that I'm sad that I even mentioned it to you guys because you should never
that's
watch
right.
it.
Euphoria is a living nightmare of every parent. Like, think of everything that you're afraid of as a parent
For
that
your
your
children.
kids might be up to, and then imagine you assemble a team of highly paid Hollywood writers to punch that up
Like now,
Why?
and
Hey,
present
imagine-
that
all right,
to you.
So like
That's
like,
what
you know,
that's what Euphoria is.
you know the difference between like petty crime and disagreements, like the stuff that you'd see on like Nextdoor and stuff like that. Maybe
Yeah.
you'd read in the newspaper, and you know the difference between that and like what happens in the Avengers in terms of like scope and
Response.
scale and
Mhm.
explosive elements. That's the difference between your latent or active fears of what will happen to your daughters as they continue to have friends and go through life and what happens on Euphoria. It is all happening at the exact same time to everybody, like drugs, prostitution, overdosing. Like it is elevated to a level of absurdity. But yeah, never watch it. In fact, I am forbidding both of you from ever watching it. I'm allowed to watch it because I don't have children.
Yes.
So like I can look at it as a detached piece of art and it's fine. It's good. I will enjoy it when it comes back. You're not allowed. And if I hear that you've seen it, I'll be very upset.
Oh.
Not mad, just upset.
At what age do you guys become perverts for watching like 20-year-olds being like too sexy and stuff?
I mean, I don't know.
Okay,
I think
I'm gonna say as long as we say the words that 20-year-old is being too sexy, I think we're always in the right. like we have now entered. We're now over. What did you say? Over the hump of 35 or whatever.
On the other side.
We're on the
Yeah.
other side. Like she's being too sexy.
Oh, bless
yeah,
my
it's-
heart.
I mean, I guess that there is like a level of like that kind of stuff where it's like, what was it? Larry Clark. Did Larry Clark do kids? Like, but all the stuff that he did.
No,
where it
he
was like-
put on the glasses and everyone thought he was a newspaper reporter.
No, that's Larry Clark Kent.
Oh.
I'm making creepy films and Superman.
Sorry.
I'm Larry Clark Kent. No, not Larry David. I think it was Larry Clark. But like those movies were like even when I was like close to the age that the kids were when the movie Kids came out, I was like, whoa, that's creepy. That's a weird movie. It's odd that an adult is making that movie where all these high school people are like doing very grody things.
I had that moment when of like I went to go see Powder because it was sci-fi, and I heard something the director creepy like some young something, and then man, Powder has some long lingering albino chested shots.
Albino chested
Yeah,
shots.
that's the whole thing. He's been struck by lightning and he's got lightning powers. Also happens to be super buff, very young, in a high school, constantly teased by other boys who insist on taking off his clothes. Powder. That's the pitch.
But yeah,
that's what it
the-
was. It was
the director
very confusing.
Oh,
the director has like some for real stuff in his past, and like wound up was it Jeepers Creepers that he directed too, and like that, like, so he like kept getting chances in Hollywood despite the fact that this stuff was like out there.
Yeah,
Like,
well, and I think that's the part that
But
surprised me
Hollywood,
because
right?
before Powder came out, I remember reading articles like, "Ooh, this guy's got a quote unquote reputation," as the kids call it. I'm sure he wouldn't go out of his way to flaunt that in this sci-fi movie. Oh, good God, is this a lot of multiple scenes of figuring out reasons to take this 17-year-old's clothes off?
So, Victor Salva is his name. His ongoing career in filmmaking became controversial after his conviction in 1988. 88. So he was convicted in 88.
He was actually convicted, which
Convicted in 88 on
That was
charges
10
related to
whole
his
years, maybe 7 whole years before.
relating to his sexual abuse of a 12-year-old male actor who starred in one of his films,
boy.
Clown House, videotaping himself in the act of
By
doing
the time
so.
Powder came out, that 12-year-old was probably legal. So,
Wait,
I
did
can't
he-
even.
Did he direct after that?
Yes, yes.
Like-
Powder's 1995 and Jeepers Creepers is in 2001.
Well, there you go. Do y'all want to hear
Yeah.
about the creeper in my life? It's actually kind of funny. and
His
it's
name's
not bad.
Brian.
It's like the worst creeper story.
There's, okay, before we tell, can I lighten things? Can I lighten things?
Yes, you can. Yes.
There
yes,
was
yes,
definitely a moment. There's definitely a moment that there was some fussing happening over the weekend, and Bonnie adopted some language that we've heard a lot from a 12-year-old.
Yeah,
But
12-year-olds.
I've never heard it from my wife. So she got upset. I don't even remember what we were fussing over, but she just goes, she goes, "Ah, I hate you," and then immediately follows up with, "Sometimes when you make me feel dumb like that," and then I said, "You've never said those words before," and I said, "I'm gonna go." And so then I went to the master bedroom and I closed the door and I locked the door, and then I take a 25-pound dumbbell weight and then I put another 25 dumbbell weight and I decided I'm gonna take a shower and work it all out. Take off all my clothes. I'm like, oh wait, I might have to poop. and there's nothing worse than taking a shower and then pooping afterwards.
I know,
so
right?
so I go and I poop, and then I come out naked and gunslinger tumbleweed across the middle of the bathroom. Bonnie says, "I'm sorry I said that." Cut to me. I don't think now's a good time for this conversation.
I mean, I was surprised by the nudity, but I was just like, well, I'm here now. I might as well just.
So wait.
I definitely pushed the 50 pounds
it
out of the way.
was
Okay,
definitely
that's
neither
what I
of us were
wanted.
prepared for this
Yeah.
to be the arena, the location, the time, or the like. Both of us had this like face-off moment. You just having done the dishes, me naked having taken a shit, you wanting to apologize for harsh language, me very confused.
Yeah, it was a really weird moment. 22 years. 22 years.
And I'll tell you what, it's still surprising each other.
Well, speaking of surprises, you want to hear about my creeper?
Yeah, no. Yeah,
Sure.
let's talk about your
Yeah.
creeper.
Okay. So I have to own to the fact that I flirted with the guy at the pro shop because I played golf in high school, and I flirted with him a lot because
Were you underage?
Yeah.
Oh.
But like I was
So
a
this
giggly
is a
kid.
story of potential statutory rape.
Right, actually. It
Okay,
is.
but sorry, I was trying to sensationalize it. Apparently, I'm just accurately. All right, keep going.
No, but like he was married, so I never really thought
Oh,
that.
betrayal as well.
Yeah.
A married man.
Wow,
An
what a-
underage
what a-
girl. A
What
mutual
a
interest.
Jezebel.
in
like,
golf.
Flirting was basically I would go buy tees because so I can golf with them.
So
and
that,
then he would sell the tees, and then I would giggle with my girlfriends as we walk off because we're, dumb like that.
that's the trick. Is
So that was
you have
the
to sell
flirting?
the
That
tees.
is exactly the sophistication of my flirting. There was no
Was
like,
that you were buying the tees from the guy that you thought was cute?
with a gaggle of girls.
With a gaggle of girls, and then
Yeah.
wait, did you know
who
that giggling?
teases girls who are underage, girls who giggle at teas.
Right. So he knew
A naughty
we all thought he
tale.
was cute, but like he was married and safe, to like flirt.
Buckle in for the summer's greatest hits. The
Right.
19th hole.
I mean, I'll tell you what. The way
That's
the
a
Bonnie's
whole new
talking, it sounds like more like the fucking barely off the back nine. If you catch my drift.
Right. Right. Well, so anyways, I'm 16. I get my big truck with no AC, and I am going. I actually think maybe I have a chance to be a
Famous rap artist.
who plays golf.
And is also a comedian.
I wanted to get a scholarship for playing
Famous
golf. 'Cause-
podcaster.
So, I didn't know
Also
that
artist.
you were into golf as a kid.
Yeah. I played all through high school. I tried playing tennis, and then one time the instructor says, "Why do you do that?" I'm like, "What? I've worked with you for 5 years, and you turn around every time." I go, and my mom goes, "She's blind in one eye." So like my tennis career was over. Like we realized you'll never be a star tennis player not seeing most of the
And
game.
I would love to see
So
the faculty room after that.
yeah, and so then
I put so much into this one.
I know, right? And well, it was private lessons, so we were trying to make me into because I was a pretty
And you were
athletic
underage at the time.
right? Well, that was tennis.
By
was
the way,
definitely tennis.
it is fun to just like,
was tennis and
so
there
I
was
played
no
Galaga.
weirdness.
I was underage at the time.
So then we moved over to golf because the ball stays still and you don't need depth perception to play golf. So
Yeah.
I mean, except when you putt, that does get weird, but you can walk it off. So I'm playing. So I go and I'm trying to play through the summertime, so I don't suck in the fall like I did the previous year. And now I can do that because I have a car, so I drive over.
Gotcha.
And then I'm like, oh shit, I'm by myself and that guy's there, and I have to pay for my green fee because I'm not with like the students. So I pay for my green fee, and it's a little awkward. He goes, oh yeah, go play on this. It was a really big golf course.
Why was it awkward?
Because I giggled every time I saw him. So, now it's just me and it feels different because
Did you stop giggling, or was it awkward because you?
I did not make eye contact. I slid my money over and I was just like, okay, I'm just going to play, because now all of a sudden it feels weird because there's.
Are you afraid that it's like, oh, is this an escalation from your side, that like you used to be there with your friends and now you're there alone? Or were you just like uncomfortable with the idea that you had been giggling at this guy before?
Well, yeah, like all of a sudden it felt different because nobody was
human.
around. Right. He was a
Gotcha.
You
human.
didn't have an audience. Before he was a prop, and now he's a human.
And now he's a human.
And now you have to awkwardly hand him money.
Yeah, that was weird.
Yeah.
But then it was a really big course that the city watered. Like it was part of the zone of the city that can't use. So they used just the water and stuff on that, and then they had the beautiful course, 3 sets of 9. So a lot of tournaments happen there because you could send them all. So there's 3 sets, not just 18, but I guess 20
million.
Yeah, lots. So then he sends me off, and I go play. I'm gonna play 9 holes, and then I get round the corner, and the water turns on. Right, like all of a sudden I'm getting showered with shit water because it's gray water that they water the course with. So shit water is pouring down on me.
But you're alone.
I'm alone
I mean,
in
it's
shit
not
water.
The dude didn't show up to laugh at you or nothing, did he?
Oh no, he showed up in his white horse, which happened to be a golf cart. He goes, "Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. I was supposed to like
Oh
water
my
the
God!
side
Was
of
he
the-"
grooming a moment?
Yeah. No, this is super awkward because then he comes up to like save me from the shit water, and I know he turned it on.
Yeah.
On me, the shit water.
Wait,
Because he's admitted as such.
Yes, he says, oh.
He says, whoopsie doodle, and by doodle, I mean the doo-doo that's in the water that I turned the hose
gray
on
water.
to shoot you with.
Where the whole city's
Also-
poop water goes there and gets sprayed out on the golf course and now is spraying on me and my eyes and everything. It was really nasty. And so I'm just walking back.
You're getting golf bukkakied just with shit water.
Exactly. And he drives up to save me, right?
To save you from the thing he did to you.
Now,
That's a Batman move, by the way.
I was only...
Batman's always engineering those crimes so he can swoop in and stop them.
Right. So then I'm like only on hole 3, and the quicker way would be to just turn around and take me back, right? So I accept the ride because at this point I'm not really...
if you're on hole 3, you're already been taken from the back.
Oh my God!
Go ahead. Let's keep going. It's fine.
So then he like... But he goes, oh, I have to check the rest of the course to make sure all the sprinklers are working. I'm like, whatever, dude. So we go around the course and and then he stops at the top of the hill in front of the 9th hole and he like gives me the
did he
stare.
try to do a romantic moment while you're covered in shit water?
While you're covered in shit?
Covered in shit water. So he looks at me. And then I look at him like, are you fucking kidding me?
All right, now, in the version of the story that you're telling, he's about 2 years older than me, and you are...
He was in his late 30s, I think.
Late 30s?
Yeah, late 30s.
Okay. In all seriousness.
Yeah.
What, now with time between the moment, what do you think the actual ages are? Not how it felt at the time, but the actual ages.
Oh, what was his age?
Yeah.
For reals.
Because in general, 16-year-olds don't.
Well, he was definitely 30.
Okay.
And like he had already
he could buy beer.
I mean, as is kind of, but he definitely had already had a tour where he was playing pro golf for a while and then settled running the course.
This pro shop.
Pro shop, which happens. Like, that's what people do, I guess. So he'd already had a career. So it was either late 20s. He was married.
Like early.
He had kids.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Late 20s,
so
early 30s.
Is like 29.
Yeah.
Like probably around
in his 30s, though. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So you guys are having a romantic shitwater covered moment.
He is setting the mood.
So I'll set. We're up on the hilltop, looking over the 9th green, which is a short par 3 that I have.
They call it the cream green.
Yeah. Oh, they do now.
You are just on one today, Brian. You are just firing him off.
So then we're on, the little cart or whatever, but it's like this really steep gully, and then it twists around, and you head back to the back to the pro shop or whatever. But so he looks at me, and then I look at him like, "Are you fucking gotta be kidding me?"
Wait,
and then
was he given the for reals?
Like,
so
he was leaning in. He was like, "Okay, I'm gonna tug you with your
very progressive."
So this is
before Sheryl Sandberg.
He brought you up to fucking make out point
to
and
the green,
was like,
cream green.
Yeah, that's it. If you repeat it, you're only encouraging him. I'm just letting you know.
Right. So then I was just like, then I look at him and I'm like, and I step on the gas, and we are on this precipice, like, dangerously. Like, I step on the gas and I floor it And we,
So okay.
he has to drive all the way back.
In all sincerity, like if there was money on the table on a scale of 1 to 100%, how certain were you that he was making a move?
Oh, absolutely. There was no question.
Huh.
Absolutely. There was I don't know what words were exchanged either, but it was without a doubt that
He's leaning. He brought you to an isolated point.
He
and
stopped
is
the car.
now leaning
He's
in
leaning
for
in.
a kiss.
There
Yeah.
might have been a brief discussion. I was like, I don't think so. I know that was what I said. I don't.
Oh,
think
like
so.
there might have been like a, so do you have a boyfriend or something like that?
Something like that. Yeah.
Gotcha.
And then I was like,
Yeah, that's creepy.
I know.
Oh my good God.
But I think the funniest part is just like I would rather get in a cart wreck than have this happen. So.
I mean, I'll tell you what, that's actually pretty smart, like in terms of like, that's going to end the situation real quick. Like, you know, like I don't give a fuck how romantic or what the narrative was in his mind.
Right.
Like what fucking penthouse letter to the editor fucking situation was going to happen. That shit, none of those include. And then the car started careening off the side of the cliff. That is a mood killer.
Here's what I want to know. Like, did you play it off as a, oh, haha, what a funny thing I did? Or was this, I just stopped this attempted statutory rape? Like,
I guess, you know, being at the age and then there's not a lot of discussion about these things, right? And also, I was like in the Rio Grande Valley and everybody's looking for a ride out of the valley because like it sucks to be down there. So I'm sure there's a precedent for that age gap.
I'm really glad you brought this up since everything's on the record. Is there anything else you'd like to say about the Rio Grande Valley in particular and what people think about it there?
No, I did not.
So wait a minute. You're saying a ride out of the Rio Grande Valley, meaning like if you are a young girl, maybe hooking up with an older dude is like it now elevates your social station. There are like a lot of social benefits beyond whatever like age gap thing.
Right.
That the isolation of the valley like creates a situation where that probably happened more than it would in another place.
Right. So
man, this is why small towns. I don't like them, man.
I mean, small towns.
Small towns.
I mean,
I always get in trouble. Ashley always yells at me, but I'm like, man, they're bad places and they create bad people. They enable the worst humans.
And I think if you are if you're part of the group, right? If you're not vulnerable, you fit right in whatever clique or niche or whatever, then it's great. You know, it's fine. There's a safety in that. I don't know. I guess there's not some of I mean, we can't even say there weren't like drugs and stuff. I know a lot of people are like, oh, big towns and drugs and stuff. But we lived right on the border and there was like the head football star, his dad shot him in the head and then shot himself over cocaine stuff. That was just like
Jesus Christ.
I mean, it was fucking there was
Man,
drugs,
like,
there were gangs, there was like statutory rape. I mean,
that story went from 0 to 1 billion in about 4 seconds.
I mean, it's dramatic. It's
no,
dramatic.
the Rio Grande Valley. You
Why
went from like boring story of an all too common occurrence of creepy guys to fucking TNT drama. We've just got an option for fucking an 8-episode order on TNT with just Bonnie's Rio Grande Valley stories.
Hello, welcome to the afterlife. My name's Doug. Can you state your reason for being dead? Oh, I was shot. You're like, okay, by whom? You're like, well, by myself. Okay, after shooting my son.
Brian,
okay,
it's
related to what? Cocaine stuff. and then he just stopped. He's just like, you want this line?
Yeah. No, it's the son shows up first and it's like, what happened? I was shot. By who? And then like the dad 2 seconds later, guilty as charged.
We're all good now, though, right? No.
Oh my
anyways.
God. That's fucking crazy. So,
Yeah.
no, but I mean, I do think that's the thing is that the one thing that happens in a small town, and look, this is me slandering fucking willy nilly because I never grew up in a small town. This is only my anecdotal evidence, right? But it's like, it seems that the one thing is for sure is that boy, do a lot of people like to keep secrets. Like
Well,
nobody wants to be known for the thing. And so all the same dirt happens. The
Right.
dirt is humanity. The difference is now there's this veneer of like, absolutely not here. Because in the big city, you're one of many people that did a thing.
Well,
In
and
the small town, you're the one.
right.
The one person who did a thing.
If you
Yeah.
pooped your pants in second grade and later become valedictorian,
Yeah.
you will be the valedictorian who once pooped their
Who
pants.
shit their pants. Yeah.
Yes.
That's the way small towns work.
I forget where I heard it, but somebody was like, you want to know why carnies get laid as gross as they are? Because they leave the town and they never come back. Like there are things you can do to that person that you can't do for anybody else. If you're the fucking prom queen, but you kind of wanted to fuck somebody, boy, you can fuck that carny smelling like gas because he's never going to tell anyone because you'll never see him again.
I am legitimately convinced that that's part of why I ended up in the variety arts and on tour is because we
You
moved.
wanted to.
Well,
You wanted to fuck carnies.
because the first 17 years of my life, 15 no, yeah, first 13 years of my life, I think we moved 6 times or whatever, and I figured out real quick, like, oh, so what you do is try your best and then they get you and then you start over as someone totally different.
Yeah.
There's no penalty and nothing follows you. And then I started touring with the magic show. It's like, oh, so what you do is a show that maybe was good or maybe not, but either way, you're in another state tomorrow. Okay. Like, yay. I mean, to be honest, the internet is kind of my living nightmare because it is a small town.
It records everything.
Yeah, exactly.
It is a small town. You're right.
Yeah, you have a persistent reputation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
but you are,
do I
but you
ever
are
have a reputation?
rewarded for sharing, or at least that's what we've learned. Is that the more we've shared the embarrassing moments of ourselves, like if
Well,
I pooped my
but-
pants,
but-
I would tell the story on Night Attack, and I would be rewarded financially for it. At least
guess-
now.
I
Right,
guess
right.
that's
But
like the
you and I are on
freedom,
the
right?
other side of 35, where we're immortal, and the more sharing we do, the more insurance we're buying from anyone getting us. Because
I mean,
it's like
I don't know, how math works, but the better part of our early career I spent before 35 telling of all the stories of grody ass stories about you.
35 is an arbitrary number meant to represent on the other side of establishing who we are, and every confession becomes another piece of dragon scale in our armor, so that nobody can get us because we've already told all those stories.
I mean, that's, one of the first, we've said this before, but one of my favorite shows before I met Brian was the Opie and Anthony show with Jim Norton. And Jim Norton is a comic who is like famous for telling things that happened as a youth, things that are happening now, his sexual peccadillos, to graphic detail. And I heard an interview with him and he's like, yeah, part of why I started doing that was because I knew if I told the story and I got laughs, now not only am I the funny guy, but no one can ever hurt me. Nobody can bring up the fact that I did this thing if I'm the one that told them. And that was a large part. That was something that stuck with me a lot when we were first doing our stuff. And I'm like, oh no, number one, I kind of want to tell the stories anyway, just because I think that they're funny. And that's what I would do with a friend that I was continuing to, meet and have fun with and trust in Brian on the internet, but we were doing it publicly. But even then it's like, now there's even more of a reason to do it because like if I'm okay with understanding that this was a thing that happened in my past and it can be embarrassing or gross or silly or, whatever.
Well, and
that
I think
it's there forever.
That's we've talked about this. I think that's part of our mutual attraction to the podcast Harmontown, rest in peace. Is that part of the attitude that Dan Harmon had was, if I'm the one saying I'm fat, I'm an alcoholic, I'm lazy, I don't show up on time, I break promises, I do whatever. Well, now I'm the one who says those, and the world has nothing on me. And to me, that was like watching fucking Mick Jagger level of self-loathing isn't the right word, but of somebody who is totally unafraid. It seemed so punk rock to be that unafraid and to throw everything out there. And then like 4chan just made a game of pitching this idea that like he deleted his Twitter, his stated reason being, oh wait, you mean they canceled James Gunn over a tweet from 8 years ago? And he just thought for 5 seconds about everything he's ever tweeted and was like, I don't want to be fired from a job over that. And so he just hit delete. And he was like, that felt fucking great. And then a few days later, people on 4chan were like, hey, why did he delete his Twitter account? And then somebody, did like 5 minutes of searching to find some weird ass Channel 101 shit of him portraying a villain with a doll going, I'm evil, I'm a pedophile, I love having sex with babies. And then it's like, probably this. And then headlines emerge, and dude had deplatformed himself, had no way to say anything about it.
Yeah.
And in that moment, I realized, like, how many years have I loved the idea that the world has nothing on me because I've given it all up. And then in that moment, I had the horrifying panic attack of, oh Christ, the world has everything on me. And that was very painful for me. And it turns out that the answer, by the way, is over long times of therapy, Dan Harmon came to understand that what you do is you give absolutely no energy to it and it goes away because it was dumb. So that's something I hope I never have to face because I like sharing
Thanks
everything.
for spelling it out for everybody.
Nice
job.
I mean, also, it's like that was in a very specific moment in time where that moment felt a lot realer, and there was like a news peg for why you would find an ancient Channel 101 sketch because Roseanne got fired, and then James Gunn gets fired, and part of that was like internal of like, okay, well, if we fired Roseanne for ambient tweeting something awful, then maybe we gotta fire James Gunn because he tweeted things a billion years ago. And then like the question with Harmon was like, okay, well now this is outside of that Disney power structure. The Disney decisions were made by the same person who felt that now he needed to even the scales of justice in this bizarre, like, oh, a conservative gets it and a liberal gets it, which is bizarre and fucked up. But now, for Dan Harmon, it was like, oh, he was protecting this like 50 episode Rick and Morty order. So
70,
it wasn't
70
even
plus
70,
episode.
whatever.
Yeah.
So it's like now it's not
The
just
biggest
him.
cartoon deal in history, a 9-digit deal.
Jeez.
And so that's like, that's not just his gigantic amount of money.
That's everybody
like
he works with.
Everybody. That's
Yeah.
like houses for everybody he works with.
Yeah.
And now based on this Channel 101 thing. Now, on a long enough timeline, you look at that situation and you're like, okay, well, James Gunn got his job back. Nothing ever happened with the Harmon thing. Like his point was, look, it was satire about Dexter was popular about like fetishizing a murderer as a crime solver who murders the right people. And so that's the heightened element of that. is what it is.
Which
but that was
which
fine.
by the way, weird take, America, that you like that.
I know. I watched one episode and I was like, what? I don't know. It was a little, I think it's a little weird. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
But the if he had just had that episode, that all that stuff happened 10 years earlier, then he could have could
have worked at a golf shop.
He could have been the director of Powder. Thanks.
I mean, there is a part of that though, of the Hollywood retribution that is on some level maybe there should be some morals in this town. Like maybe there should be some element of because it's such a power structure town that really the morals you get come from the highest pedestal on the power structure. And that is, that was part of that moment of being like, oh wait, all right, maybe we shouldn't fetishize Roman Polanski because he definitely fled the country afraid of, being tried for statutory raping a girl. Maybe there should be some lines here. And then that went into oh, well, now it's a Twitter thing and now it's old tweets. And that's a fucked up town. It's fucking weird.
Yeah. The old tweet thing is really wild because, I was surprised at the temporary, hashtag canceling of James Gunn because the tweets were clearly the type of things that somebody who had no power and had nothing to lose would say for the intentional purpose of being outrageous and offensive. And when you are totally powerless, that's one of the only tools you have is to break social norms and say something, hyper offensive or whatever. It seems like now granted, this happened at a time that he had since become powerful. So I understand the impulse to want to take down somebody powerful, but what you're really doing is you're taking away the move of the powerless, and I'm not cool with that, right? To say something transgressive when you have nothing.
Look, I don't know if that's necessarily even the rubric that people were playing by. I can understand where you can see it like that, but I think this was literally, it was just a pound of flesh for it was a pound of flesh for Roseanne, and that's it. And when you look back at it now, that seems very clear. And ultimately, it wound up getting James Gunn another movie. James Gunn is back on Guardians of the Galaxy 3, and he's doing the Suicide Squad reboot. So it's he, while painful, it wound up being, it wound up coming out in the wash, at least for him, career-wise. But, to the larger meta point that Brian, you were saying is the idea of putting everything out there is always dual purpose. Nobody does it because you're afraid you're going to give the world the rope to hang you. But you do it because now you know where all the rope is, so it's going to be harder for them to hang you. But there is it really comes down to just this religious idea. Now I know for me, it's if I am involved with other stuff based on the shit I've said on BB Live Show or Night Attack, I am positive that there is a supercut of me saying shit that is awful. I could get my dream job and they could supercut together, people who wanted to hurt me could supercut together stuff that is horrifying and could probably get me fired for it. That being said, my only solace is knowing that I will walk into that with eyes wide open of look, this good. You could take it out of context and show me in a very, very poor light. You could take the worst jokes that I've ever made and make that me. But my goal now, if that happens, is to not be defensive, to own everything and say, hey, look, this is what I said. It's publicly on the internet. You can search it. like, let's either go forward or not.
Welcome to the dojo of Brian and Justin, where we teach belly show fu. Is somebody coming at you with a knife? Show them your belly. Does somebody have 2 fists with claws? Show them your belly. Does somebody have something mean to say? Show them your belly.
Yeah, I mean, at least they're not going to use your own belly to beat you up in that metaphor.
Hey man, wow, what a journey all of that was.
Yeah.
We'll be back
anyways,
tomorrow.
So here's the advice, though, if you're trying to hit it on somebody.
Track down that dude and cover him with shit water.
Not too sexy shit water.
Not too. Wait. Sorry. What is sexy shit water?
There is no sexy shit water. That's what I'm
Like
saying.
I picture Bonnie saying like, why did you get the sexy shit water? I mean, I asked for shit water, but this is too sexy.